Branding is three things. It is discipline, it is consistency, it's hard work. I fell into branding just the way people fall in love, accidentally and then intentionally. The question you ask yourself in business to see that you really have a good product or service that is worth branding is, what won't people get if they don't use my service? Then if you find what that is what you build your brand around.
There are many other people offering the same service. Like, is it possible really to have that unique service and you're the one giving it?
That's the assumed position.
Yeah.
But there must be something. We are all made unique. Did you know that in 2024 alone, in the United States, over $169 billion worth of counterfeit goods were seized at the border?
Welcome to DID Podcasts, a space that provides you with inspiration, information on finances, on business growth, and everything in between. My name is Deborah Atwine, a director at DID Microfinance, a financial institution that provides loans to salary earners and business owners and other financial solutions for the growth of everyone that is involved in any economic activity. And today I'm privileged to host one of the, I may say, the best brand guru that we have in Uganda. And our topic today is about the impact of a good brand image on a business. He's the director at Nomad Advertising. He's a pastor at Worship Harvest and a husband to one of the most beautiful ladies in the city. So you are most welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Would you please introduce yourself?
Wow. Thank you very much, Deborah. My name is Ariho Kamara, and I lead the team at Nomad Advertising. We are a continental advertising and marketing agency with presence in Uganda, in Rwanda, and in Ghana. And we've been at it in Uganda for 15 years. That's the longest. We make 15 years on the 19th of this month, actually. Wow. I am a son, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a brother. I am a leader, but I'm also a learner that is involved in business. That's what I would call myself.
Wow, yeah. What an introduction. You're almost everywhere, and that is good. Yeah. So tell us a little about your journey into branding and helping businesses build those brands that you always tell us, that brands that are loved and trusted.
Yeah. So I must say that my journey into branding is interesting. I fell into branding just the way people fall in love. You fall in love accidentally and then intentionally.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how it started. I remember I was in Form 6, and my father found me a job just to keep me busy during the holidays. And I want to give credit to Mr. John Kato and the wife who took me in, and that's where my journey really began.
Okay. And
while I was in that space, I met very many people, but most notable, I met Idris Kamuli, who is now the MD at Mad McCann, and together we've walked a journey of resilience in this industry. So that's how I started. Those are some of the people that have inspired me, and it's been a windy road. I've had the privilege of working here in Uganda, some brands in Uganda. I've had the privilege of working on brands in Rwanda, brands in Ghana, and really all over the place, South Sudan, Nigeria, DRC, Malawi. So it's been an interesting journey. But most importantly, I've had the privilege of writing a book. And in my book, Live Your Brand, I really document exactly how that journey has been shaped by people and by experiences that I've encountered along the way. So I won't get too much into detail into my personal journey, but I can say that in a snapshot is where I have been.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is very interesting. You really have vast experience, and I'm sure you worked on so many brands. So what is a brand image? If you are to tell an ordinary person out there, how would you explain to them what a brand image is?
Well, brand image is it's very broad. I would say what we normally encounter are what are called brand touch points. And those brand touch points are what inform the brand image. I'll give you an example maybe and then try to go around it. Human beings by nature, we are cognitively misers. We don't want to overthink things. And because we don't want to overthink things, what companies or organizations have done is to make our decision-making process faster.
Okay.
So because I don't want to get into Google and type and try to do a lot of research, I find things that trigger trust. So that's what the brand image does. For example, no one asks if Colgate will function for them when they see it on the shelf. But if they find another brand, they might be tempted to read. But what Colgate has done over the years is to create an image that makes that purchase decision easier. That's what brand image is. If you have a good brand image, a positive brand image, you make the decision, you make the process of making a decision very easy for your customer. And that is what we actually push. But that brand image is not primarily out of the logo and the design and the look, but it's everything around the brand. It's the employees who work in the business. They are the first point of contact in the brand. Like I was saying earlier, it doesn't matter if you take out an advert of 50 million, if your receptionist is rude, that is the brand image that the people who encounter your brand will go away with. And this, goes to every level, whether it's a service, it's how people have experienced it. So for me, brand image, I would say, is so many things, but there are touch points that then shape that brand image. And the touch points is what people normally focus on, but brand image is a lot deeper than that. It's everything around the organization. Okay. I'll just give you an example. For example, did you know that in 2024 alone, in the United States, over $169 billion worth of counterfeit goods were seized at the border? Now, what those people were trying to do is to trade in goods which were faking the brand image of actual goods. So counterfeits, what counterfeits do is that they try to impersonate a touch point of a brand without the back workings of the brand.
Okay.
That's why you'll find an iPhone or a phone that looks like an iPhone, but it is not an iPhone. It's a counterfeit. It is just trying to impersonate a touch point of the brand, but does not put into consideration all the other things that go into making that brand work. So that's for me what I see as brand image. And what we do in our business is to try and shorten that conversation of when I see this, this is what it reminds me of, this is what it makes me feel. So for example, if you have a very good pair of Nikes, without the logo, it's not a Nike. It might be the same shoe, the same quality, but when you put the logo as a touch point, then it qualifies to be a Nike, and it begins to evoke the things that Nike stands for. So that's really what I would sum up brand image as.
Okay, that's interesting. So you mean the customer experience also is part of the brand?
Very much so.
Because you talked about the guard or the
receptionist.
receptionist
Yes.
who may spoil the brand. And then you talk about the big brands, Colgate
Yes.
and Nike. What would you talk about the brand for these upcoming businesses? what does it mean to them? Of course, for the big brands, we know, you
Yeah.
just look at the logo MTN and you know this is MTN, Coca-Cola, but what does this branding mean to the upcoming businesses, our SMEs in Uganda, our businesses in Uganda that have not really made that name? What does branding mean to them?
So this is what I'll say. If you asked me what branding is on another day, not like today,
Yes.
I would tell you branding is three things. It is discipline, it is consistency, it's hard work. Now, in Uganda, it's very difficult to value our brands
Yeah.
because our brands are built off of opportunity cost.
Yes.
What did you forego while you were building that business? You forewent your daughter's birthday or your son's birthday. You forewent you stayed up late at night. Your family did not see you for prolonged times. You cancelled holidays with them. That sweat equity that goes in to build that business is part of the brand. And I think that is why we are very, very attached to our businesses, because the bulk of the business is in the brand. And that brand has not yet been translated into something that you can delegate to someone. So in the Ugandan context, in the question that you asked, is that until we can translate those intangibles into tangible things, then it becomes very difficult for us to decouple or what the brand is and the business. For example, they'll tell you, maybe if even just using Ugandan brands here, I would look at a brand like Movit. Movit is fairly successful. I would look at what they have done in the hair and beauty space. Because of the inability to quantify, I know a bit of the owner, Mr. Simpson. Because of the inability to quantify what the value of that brand is, then we are left to touch the products and stuff like that. You see, like Coca-Cola will tell you that almost a third of its value is in just its logo. A third of the value of Coca-Cola is in its logo.
Interesting.
Because if they give you the hardware to make the Coca-Cola, you won't sell it to anyone because it's not Coca-Cola.
It's not.
Yeah, it is something
Yet
else.
they also struggled.
Exactly.
Here in their first year, they sold countable number of bottles.
Yes, they started as a syrup or cough syrup or whatever it is, and began to
Interesting.
evolve. So it's those things that we need to begin to quantify and know exactly what is the opportunity cost financially. So, for example, many of us wouldn't know exactly how much worth or what's the worth of the brand outside of the product or the service that we offer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, sorry, take you back a bit, but we have talked about, we are talking about these tangible things like Coca-Cola, like, what would you say about the service? The service industry seems to be even more complicated when you talk about the brand. How would the brand and the image differ for business that sells real tangible products and then those that sell services?
Well, I think the thing that all businesses do, whether it's product or service, the thing that they do is solve a problem.
Sort of a problem.
Yes. Now, if you're a service and you solve a problem, then your brand is going to be affiliated to the problem that you solve. Now, the bigger the problem, the bigger the compensation, obviously. The other things that go around solving the problem, like I said, those are really touch points, because even the people who sell physical products, they have a service that accompanies that. So you can't have a 100% product and a 100% service. They complement each other. So they are tangible aspects and intangible aspects of any product. But I would say that for people who sell services, the thing that we talked about, which is the consistency.
Yeah.
If you are if people know that, for example, I'll give you an example. Google is a service. I don't think any of us has ever picked up the phone to call Google and say, my password is not working.
It's not working.
Yeah. Or maybe try to look for their officers to say it's because it works.
It works.
It simply works. And that's what services need to do in terms of elevating their brand. So it's
That's
just be
interesting.
consistent and work and
the customer experience. The customer doesn't want to know what is happening.
Exactly.
They just want to be served.
Exactly.
Okay.
My wife used to say, she had a boss who used to say, don't tell me about the labor pains, just show me the baby. So
Wow.
Yeah.
So now the thing of the brand, how do you, how does it influence the trust and the customer decision making to buy or not to buy? Which of course eventually leads to business growth, because if a customer decides to buy, then it means the business is doing well. But how does this brand influence the customer decision making as far as buying is concerned?
Yeah, again, like I told you, because we are cognitive misers and we don't want to overthink. When your brand does well, when people know that when they see this logo, this is what it stands for, then it makes the decision-making process faster. I have seen people who are happy to pay $150,000 for the same USB cable just because it has a logo of a fruit on it and comes in a white box.
I know the one you are talking about.
It has a fruit
Yes.
and is in a white box.
Yeah.
But you can find it for 30,000. It does the same thing. Now, that is exactly what brands do. It's because they have proven themselves over and over again and been consistent, so people trust them. And people make that purchase decision a lot easier. I would say that is the thing that most businesses need to crack. That is the thing that we are all clamoring to do. And sometimes we become everything to everyone, but when you know what your niche is, what you're good at, then you're able to get more of those people seeing you that way. And you move them to what they call intravenous. You know, like intravenous. You know, when the brand has grown, it's like when you are in a hospital and you are on intravenous. You don't choose what is being put in the bottle up there.
Because you trust that it is to make you...
It's to make you better.
Yeah, make you better.
So that's what these brands have done, the likes of Apple. So in a few months, they'll release another phone and people will jump at it for whatever price, because most of the people in that ecosystem are now at intravenous level. Yeah, but those who see on the sidelines say all they did is move the camera, make the phone a bit bigger, but they haven't changed anything
even
really.
Smaller.
Yeah, so it's so that's intravenous. But it's because they have mastered the fundamentals. Yeah.
Wow. So what I understand is that it really takes a lot of energy to build a brand.
Correct.
But once you have built, do you relax? No, you don't relax.
No.
But the hardest part, I think, is building the brand.
The hardest.
So for the upcoming businesses, what are those key elements that are important, or the advice you would give them to build that brand that will really sell and make them seamlessly attract customers?
I think we start with the wrong question. Recently, I was talking to someone who changed the way I think about business and solutions. The question you ask yourself in business to see that you really have a good product or service that is worth branding is, what will people miss? Or no, what won't people get if they don't use my service?
Yet there are many other people who offer the same service.
Exactly. So if you can answer the question of what will people not get if they don't use my service, like they can't find it elsewhere, then if you find what that is what you build your brand around. And that is what makes the brands that we know win. There is something that you know that if it's not in the market, then you're going to miss that one thing. And I think it's what we are all trying to solve. It's what we are all trying to clamor for. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm still answering that question. But the question is, when you get out of business, will people notice? Or will life continue as
But it's an interesting one, because there are many other people offering the same service. Like, is it possible really to have that unique service and you're the one giving it? If you're not there, then others will give the service. What do you think?
that's the
Yeah.
assumed position.
Yeah.
But there must be something. We are all made unique. As in, God made all of us in such a way that if you leave the planet, there will never be another person like you. So it's even in business, as we make our businesses, we need to find that unique quality,
Selling point.
that unique selling point to say, if my business is not, if the door's closed, this is what people would not get.
Okay.
And the moment you answer that, then you have a brand that is worth following.
Okay, that is interesting. It's a point to reflect on. I'm looking at my business, did microfinance. If I'm not there, there are so many other there are so many other microfinance institutions.
And that's the problem,
banks,
because we keep,
everything.
because we are chasing customers.
Yes.
We are not attracting customers. And I think when you stop chasing customers and begin to attract customers, then your viewpoint changes. Then you look at how you can make yourself better so that you attract more, as opposed to how you're chasing people or customers around, trying to be everything to everyone, like I said. So I think for DID and for the likes of Nomad, what we need to do is really find out exactly what we are good at and what people will miss if they don't use us.
Wow,
Okay?
it's a good one, and I think it's something I should take away from this podcast.
Yeah.
What is that people will miss? And that takes me to another important issue, that at times we make mistakes.
True.
As we try to create brands. And you've
Correct.
already said it, that we chase customers instead of attracting customers. So what are those mistakes that businesses have done they think they are promoting the brand, but they are actually killing the brand? What are those mistakes?
Being in the position that I'm in, where my job is to help brands get known, loved, and trusted.
Yes.
The challenge that I find is that most people tell me, we want you to make us like so-and-so. You understand? So you try to copy the form without understanding the substance. So they'll come and tell you, oh, our competitors are doing this. We need to do something like them. But they haven't really thought on why is the competition doing what they are doing. Because maybe the competition has cracked the point of they know what it is that people would miss if they are not in the market. So it's what they are enhancing. So because most of us are Me Too kind of brands, this one has it Me Too, this one has it Me Too. So because we are Me Too kind of things, sometimes we make mistakes. And these are mistakes that are genuine. Just this morning I was talking to my team and I was saying, there are 3 I's as you build a business or as you build a brand. The I number 1 is information.
Okay.
So one of the biggest mistakes that we do as brands is to act without information. So because you have seen someone doing something.
Yeah, someone is doing this, let me also do it.
Oh, those guys are doing a promotion. Let's do a promotion.
Yeah.
So you lack the information. The other I is imitation. So when you have the right information, then you are okay to imitate. Okay?
Information first,
Yeah.
then you imitate.
Imitation is not bad. The reason why China is a superpower, and we can debate America all we can, but China is number 1 right now.
I hope America will not come.
No, it's the world's worst kept secret.
Of course.
That China is now number 1 because, 1, they got the information, and then they became very good at imitation.
Imitating.
Yeah. Now, the third I is innovation. So now they have, as you know, they are the biggest now when it comes to battery-powered vehicles.
Yeah.
They are the biggest when it comes to 5G and 6G
Solar,
internet.
everything.
Everything China, as in if you're not doing it in China, you're getting a raw deal. You know, that kind of thing. So those are the eyes that even brands and businesses, information, imitation, and innovation.
Meaning you have to first know, imitate, and even make it better.
Thank you very much. Wow. So what we do is we run to innovate.
Without information.
Without information. Or we run to imitate without information. But if you start with information, and that's for example, what we first do for us is a brand discovery. Let's understand, what are you about as a brand? Yes, you are a microfinance, but must you look like Stanbic? No. Okay, yes, you're trying to attract a Stanbic-like customer, but can't you? You know, I had this very interesting story from a gentleman called Rugendo, who used to be one of the directors in Red Pepper. In 1998, I think, 1998, when Red Pepper started, they said there was no space for a newspaper in Uganda. It was saturated. There was New Vision, there was Monitor, there was Observer, there was Weekly Topic, there was Muno. So there was so many newspapers. And they were saying there is no space for a newspaper. Wow. But these young boys sat down and said, we can create space for a newspaper. And they launched the Red Pepper. Guess what they did? All they were looking for is, where is the sex in the story?
That is where their focus was.
And Red Pepper is a big brand.
Everything they related it to sex.
Everything was, where is the sex in the story?
Interesting. So
they told the stories everyone was telling, but their brand answered a question that no other brand was answering. The way they did it may have been unorthodox, but we know that...
Is it still existing?
Well, I don't know. Most people, pastors like me, we would pretend that we don't read it, but we will once in a while read it.
So does it mean if you imitate and innovate around a popular area, or an area that is not really, I'm not saying not liked by people, but an area where people don't feel comfortable discuss. So does it mean that it can, instead of working for your brand, work against your brand?
It is possible. Like, it depends on people's ethical values. Yeah. So, for example, as a business, you must have values. And those are like your guiding rails on what you can do and what you can't do. For example, as a business, we have chosen not to do anything called kickback. We have lost business on it, but we have found that it has helped us to attract customers who think like us, people who know, and that's why we are in BNI, because BNI, you refer me without anything you're expecting in return. That's why it's a space that I believe anyone who wants to have a good referral that doesn't have any strings attached should be in. The other referrals have very many strings. So it's values. So there are people who do bad things and make money from them. Those ones, we shall wait for Judgment Day. We can't judge them, but maybe their hearts will turn and they'll decide to do other things. But everything is out there. I mean, you look at social media, you look at the people whose content is trending. Yeah. It's not very edifying content, but it's because there are certain things that people don't talk about. And because they create a taboo around them, people are more drawn towards them. Like when you're told that a third of internet revenue is pornography, you will not believe it. But that is the fact.
And actually, those things that are not talked about, people find it easier to watch them online than even talk about them.
Correct.
So they will always do it there, watch them, because they know no one is watching.
Yeah.
And no one knows that they are.
Yeah, but we're here to talk about good brands, but there are also bad brands. There are brands there are people who are thriving and have made money. Like there's this guy called OnlyFans I was reading about the other day, millionaire. But what does he do? He has taken, I would want to call it prostitution, and created social media for that kind of, audience. And there's a lot of money that is flowing in there. So it's a brand, but it's a bad brand. It's a brand that I would not want to imitate personally, and I would discourage our viewers from imitating.
let's do things that make our world a better place. We are talking about the good. So do you have, yes, we are talking about the good brands, and do you have an example of this business, that it has grown, it has thrived because it has built a good brand in Uganda? In Uganda. Yeah, or anywhere, but it has succeeded because it has deliberately built a good brand. And if you know any that it has really gone down because of bad reputation. I'll tell you one business that has done a bit of both. I don't know if you know Macarena. Do you know Macarena? What do they do? They do pancakes. Ah, yes, I've eaten their pancakes. You have eaten their white car. Thank you very much. Along the road. Macarena is a fourth generation business in Uganda. Wow. I stopped actually at the Northern Bypass sometime back. Yeah, they usually park there. And I interviewed one of the sons who is the grandson of the owner. Is it still the same car? Well, he bought several. We had one of those, I think maybe it's one of the, but he bought several, he had several. But he started from the taxi park on Rome Street. This is in the early 90s. Wow. And everyone knew him for hygiene. And he played the song Macarena non-stop, and he never touched money. You came with your change because all he did was serve pancakes, and his pancakes were good. Now, he missed a branding opportunity. Yeah. Because he should be on the shelves of supermarkets and not continuing to vend that pancake the way it is being vended on the road. He should be owning a factory somewhere in one of these big industrial parks. And maybe even international. He should be exporting. Yeah, exporting. There should be a Uganda. I mean, I think even as a country, we have lost in not advising and helping such innovators to take our... we struggled and tried to push the Rolex and whatever, but there's this guy who did that phenomenon, and that business is a fourth generation business as we speak. So what am I saying here? There is the opportunity and there's also the missed opportunity. Yeah. It's a brand, but somewhere with the right mindset, the right people around, I think it could have, taken off. But I think it's an amazing story to know that it's been going from one generation to another. But it's never mentioned because we talk about the likes of Murwana Group, we'll talk about also Mokwano. Scale up. Exactly, but I think for purposes of not giving the obvious examples of the Murwanas and the Mokwanos of this world, I would give Macarena, who has managed to transition his business, but he has missed an opportunity because he did not embrace branding. His product is fantastic. His brand is horrible. You remind me of this place in Wandegea, Joy's Joint. Wow. That has served pork from those days when we were at campus. They tell you even today, there is Joy's Joint. Yeah. Yeah, and that really shows me that we have a lot of, at times, minds and opportunities that if they really got help, if they, at times they don't know that nomad advertising is there. Maybe they think that is a necessary cost, but I really agree with you. Yeah. On the onset, it seems like a cost. And even us as a business, we are really thinking on how do we innovate to remove the notion of a cost and bring the notion of an investment. Just like, the people who set up this space, there's quite a bit of investment that has gone in. Finish Shots podcast. Yeah, exactly. It's a good space. All this, he hasn't yet recovered his investment, but he knows that he will eventually recover it. And I think it's because of our training, and this is where now I wear my pastor's hat, that we don't value invisible things. People are quick to pay for bricks. Yeah.
But they don't know that the architect
The architect.
needs to be paid, because you can put that brick on top of the other and see a building come up. But you'll go around this city and see many people who had money but did not value invisible things.
Yeah.
That is what the spiritual realm is. I tell people that every one of us must have a spiritual discipline. You must fear God.
True.
He's there. And the reason people don't fear him is because he's invisible.
He's invisible. But I think we fear him even when he's
No, they
invisible.
claim to fear him, but they don't fear him properly.
Pastor, who doesn't fear
They don't
God?
fear him properly. Because even the branding we are talking about, the master architect of branding, I would say, is Jesus.
Yeah.
This is a guy who walks and tells fishermen and says, follow me.
Follow me.
And out of fishermen, he builds a movement that has been around for the last 2,000 years and is still growing. And he left behind a written document that, of course, came through the inspiration of other people and what. But so even us, if your brand doesn't have a brand guide,
Yeah.
you don't have a Bible from
Yeah.
which your brand
Yeah.
is singing.
Yeah.
If your brand doesn't have people, if it doesn't have followers, because he used deliberate words, he said, follow me.
Follow me.
Yeah, and we know that the people who have a lot of influence now are people who have people following them. So it's to come back to your question, we must begin to value invisible things, and that is where the whole aspect of branding is going to be. For
Begin
businesses are going
Yeah.
to benefit
Someone
from it.
starts a business, puts in money,
Yeah.
but when it comes to branding, it is like a necessary cost.
Yeah,
Yet it would make them even achieve bigger
correct.
for their business.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I think that is true, and maybe the African saying that's amisho gomwiraguju garyomunga, something they cannot touch,
Yeah.
they cannot value. And
Yeah.
at times you talked about the architect. There are also other people like interior designers.
Correct.
You go in a space, you reach here, you see there's a lot of good work by the interior
Yeah.
designer.
Yeah.
But someone thinks they can copy this and they go and paste it somewhere, and then it doesn't work. Yeah, so what practical examples would you give to entrepreneurs that really are looking at building a strong brand that will sell?
Well, I am a strong believer that any entrepreneur that wants to build anything, must they themselves be built. Because everything that you see anyone doing is a result of what is in their mind. So when you're doing something and it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere, of course there are seasons in life,
Yeah.
but as an entrepreneur, you need to be making yourself better
Better.
in order for you to build a better brand. The acronym that they share normally is ICE or ICE. Again, it is information. What information are you reading on in terms of branding, even in the sector where you want to go? Who is doing it well where you want to go? You understand? So have the right information. The next is connections. Be in groups of people who will challenge you to be better. That's why I vouch for the likes of BLN, BNI, spaces where you'll
That
find
will-
business
that will-
leaders that will
yeah.
encourage you. You'll hear them closing amounts of business,
Business,
and then you'll think, why am I not closing $1 million? What do I need to?
What am I not
Let me
doing
go and
right?
meet this person and find
Yeah.
out. So you find the connections. Then the other one is experiences. If you don't move, if you don't go out there, you won't be able to see and get to know exactly how far you are from what people are actually doing. So if you have the information, which means that you're learning and growing, you have the connections, which means you have people who are nearby you, and then you have the experiences which inspire you and show you the possibility of this. I mean, when I was looking around, I could tell there's no way Twine could have done this if he hadn't been to China a couple of times.
Okay, as you already said, that China, they are good at imitating and
Yeah.
so we are also
Exactly.
almost there.
Exactly.
We are imitating and
Exactly.
innovating.
And I want to sing also the president's message as well, because our president has been, the whole thing of import substitution is we need to do it.
Yeah.
We need to learn to start doing things at
From
home.
here.
So the internet is awash with information, but let's start to imitate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these things, yeah, we can't only see them on TV. We need to start to imitate and do this kind of stuff. And then we will innovate and come up with something that is truly ours. Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, a business leader who is building a brand, those are the three things I would say: get information, build connections, and also experiences
Wow.
that will make you
Be in the
grow
right
your brand.
space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being for being our visitor during this DID podcast. We are really grateful to share from your information.
Thank you.
And to our viewers out there, you have all got it from the horse's mouth. He's the one who builds brands in Uganda to get known, loved, and trusted. And that is Nomad Advertising. He has said it all. You have to get information, imitate, and then innovate. But you can't get all that if you're not in the right spaces.
Right.
You have to be in the right spaces, meet the right people, get information like the one we are giving you, and that is when you can build a strong brand. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.